So I think kind of when it comes to like presenting and positioning yourself to break into the industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that we're looking for, and Kayla mentioned this earlier, was around branding and process, is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Branding is really something that's more secondary. We're really more looking at how you solve problems, right? And then like if you're someone that kind of aligns personally with the team, that's a plus. But what is your brain? That's kind of what Kayla was saying. What is your
Mm-hmm.
brain? Secondary, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
do you follow this process? Are you a scientist? This is essentially
Right.
what we're getting at. And it's pretty easy to understand if someone's a scientist. A scientist isn't somebody that wears a lab coat. It's somebody that follows a particular process and gets to certain solutions, right? So like, so I think that is literally the way that we're analyzing and measuring designers. So what we'll do is we'll go through your case study or your portfolio or whatever you have, and we'll look at it and we'll look for very specific things. We'll want to look for, what was your problem? Because you can't start scientifically testing something without a problem or opportunity statement. So we want to see, hey, what was the problem that you're really trying to solve here? Or what was the opportunity that you're looking to iterate on, right? We want to see then the design process, right? So this one sounds really basic, but I don't think everyone understands what we mean when we say the design process. What we want to see is something very particular. We want to see this scientific method. The thing, just like scientists, designers will use their process in different ways for different problems at different times. And I think the thing that is unclear to people is that they think they have to run through the whole process always, or that they only have to do parts of the process always. Neither is accurate. We're actually, when you were talking to branding and how you solve the problem, we're looking at what pieces of the process you chose to use and not to use to solve this problem and why. So for instance, you have the 4Ds of design, right? Like the discovery, definition, the design, delivery, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that could happen in all those phases. And you might even cut some of those phases entirely because timelines or other reasons,
resources,
right?
whatever.
Yeah, resources. We want to know why, we want to know how, and we want to know what happened. And the thing that I think people struggle with a lot of the time is they don't understand that it's important to tell us the nitty gritty things too. Like, hey, one of the best things I can see on a design portfolio is, hey, we started down this direction. We did some discovery. We did some low fidelity things, some sketches, wireframes, whatever. We started testing, or maybe you didn't even start testing. Maybe you started showing them internally, and then some challenge came up that you didn't know about. Oh, and we had to pivot the whole project. If you can show me that and you can pivot your designs and then do something else and then take them from a lower fidelity, validate those things and go into a higher fidelity and deliver it, and then show me that what I said before, the measurement, show me how you quantified it and measured it. That is all we're looking for. It's like, cool, great. We see that you can solve problems, that you can pivot, you can come up with multiple solutions, and you can deliver something in lower and high fidelity, get it delivered, and it has impact. That's all we're looking for. And that's what we mean by process. You could take any type of deliverable and apply it to that construct, and it will work. It's not the deliverables that we're looking for. It's not. It's the thought process and how this thing evolved over time and why.
Crack open your skull like Zeus and let Athena emerge from it. Okay. There's your ancient Greece his mythology for you
this
for today.
Guy. Okay. He's birthing goddesses in the midst of this discussion.
Yeah. You said some stuff that I want to get into on another episode about like star format questions, but
right.
Specifically, you said something about like being able to show like the nitty gritty, and I think one of the things that I also want to say as far as like when you are interviewing is making sure that you like, if you can speak to parts of your project where you had to make like big changes, something changes, some restraint, some constraint. Some restraint, constraint.
You might have to show restraint in the midst of some of these discussions.
Restraints, ain'ts, banks, whatever. Like, too. So anyway, you had to censor that one. Anyway, but yeah, if you're able to like show that you can adapt to the situation too, that's all the better. So just feel free to like include that kind of stuff in your answer.
Yeah, I don't think like the thing that people don't realize is a lot of the things we look for are intangibles. Like what you're saying, how did you think through these things? How are you flexible? How did you work with your stakeholders? That's another one. Who was on the team? How did you communicate with them? How did you make decisions together and move forward? Those things aren't anywhere in the design process deliverables checklist. It's just like, okay, how did you actually manage this? How did you work with people? How did you get this launched? Because there's so many things that get lost in the midst of trying to get something out the door. There's concessions. Everybody has to make concessions. Everyone's always scared to show a design because like, oh, it's not the best design, or this isn't really what I wanted. Did it launch? And then you can tell us what concessions you had to make. On my portfolio, I always have like, here's what I was trying to do. Here's what the vision was. Here's the concessions we had to make, and here's why. Here was the constraint. Here was the business concern. Here's the risk we found out. And then here's new things we did design that I liked that worked well for those other problems that we didn't know about, right? Mm-hmm. It's like there's always other things and other people are involved. And if you try to present a design in a way that's like, oh, this is from my head and it had nothing to do with anyone else, you're likely not going anywhere with that. This man literally just went black.
All my smart home routines just ganged up on me right now and cut off all my electricity. So hold on.
That's hilarious.
Echo, turn on all the lights.
Echo, turn the lights off.
Don't make me come over there. All right. Well, yeah, I think so. As far as interviewing goes, I think one of the big takeaways I would get from this is think about who's hiring you. If you're a good UX designer, you should be able to ace an interview because you should be able to think about the user, in this case, your future manager. You should be able to put yourself in their mindset and say, what are the kinds of questions that they're going to grill me on? Mm-hmm. And I need to be able to answer those. So if you're going through your case study, you need to be able to say, I would ask someone questions about this. I wouldn't just let someone give a pass on this thing. It's like, I want to know, why'd you stop doing that one thing and decide to go with this thing? Why, what about this design is better than that design? What piece of information did you learn and why is that important? How does that help you solve the freaking problem that you started out on?